Alrighty, everybody. Having some technical difficulties getting on the stream today, but welcome to Cooking with Martin, and we're going to make a couple of things. It's New Year's Day. Happy 2023. I'm just trying to get my screens all set up and make sure I can see things. Um, yeah, it just took a little while to get things up and running. All right. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Plates, things. Our poblano peppers are roasting, so we will begin with all kinds of things. So it's New Year's, and one of the nice things I like to do is in the African American community, we're supposed to eat black-eyed peas, and yeah, that's fun. I don't like black-eyed peas, but I'm Nigerian, and actually that's something that is staple that we cook with. So we're going to make something called moi moi, but before we do that, we're going to get together stuff to make yeast rolls because I barely got some for Christmas, so we're going to start by making that because it takes a couple of hours for it to rise, so we're going to work on that right now. So we're going to start getting camera stuff switched out. And so let's see if we can do there we go. Oh, yeah, things are switching. All right, let's do the close-up view. Oh, okay. All right, so I'm just gonna move things around here. So to start off with, we're gonna move our camera around so that we can see the sink and see a couple of things on the stove. And we're gonna be moving this camera around a lot. So we have some pots because we're making a couple of things. I will be switching to through with my phone view a lot. And so, yeah, let's see, there we go. Let's do our phone view. Excellent. So, okay, so my gimbal's misbehaving. Come on. There we go. All right, so right now we are roasting a lot of poblano peppers. And we're trying to get those nice and toasty so they've been set to broil. And the whole point of that is to have the ability for some seasoning. So we're going to be making a couple of things. Oh, how do I get it off of that setting? There we go. So now it's there. So we're going to put a couple of things on the stove so that you can see. And I might just leave this here because this might be a better view than my normal. There we go. So what we're going to do is a couple of things. So we're going to start with bringing out our tiny pot, which we're going to put right here. And the recipe calls for, sorry, man, in close-up. The recipe calls for, oh, wrong burner. 1 whole stick of butter, 3/4 cups of milk, sugar, salt, and yeast. So we're going to start with our butter. Eight tablespoons of butter. A lot of fun making yeast rolls. Then we're going to bring out our big machine that helps us make these while we're working poblano peppers and a couple of other things. There we go. I don't know if something beeped on me. So I'm trying to refresh Facebook so I can make sure I am capturing all the chats. There we go. All right, yeah, everything's working. So, gonna get that camera turned over because, and there we go. You know what? I think I'm just gonna use I'm gonna clip this over here, and I'm just gonna use the phone cam because it's just a little easier to maneuver. So So for the moment, okay. And turn that to a little bit of low. Why are you? Okay. There we go. That's where I wanted it to be. Haha. So we've turned that on. We're going to add our sugar. And I like my rolls sweet. I always start by adding butter first and sugar, and that way I can add the milk and control the heat. You want this to not be hotter than 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Otherwise, you're going to kill the yeast. So I'm going to add a full cup of sugar to this. Then I'm going to wait till the butter melts completely. We're going to add a couple of other things. I like to add cinnamon to mine. Let's get that salt ready. And while we're doing that, we're going to quickly check on our oven. Yep, it's looking good. All right, we're going to turn that heat down. Normally the recipe calls for 2 teaspoons of salt, but I'm going to only add 1 teaspoon of salt because I want this to rise a little faster, and I can control the rising. Salt controls the growth of yeast, and so you don't want too much. My yeast is a little bit weaker than it should be, and so we're just going to deal with it that way. This burner is this pot is way too tiny for this burner. And so while that is going, hi, Knights of OG, it's great to see you. Like I said, we're going to be making a couple of things. We're working on some yeast rolls, and we're waiting for the milk to do that. We're going to make some Nigerian moi moi. We're going to do a whole bunch of different things. And so what you see me adding here is a lot of cinnamon while I'm waiting for the butter to melt. Yep. Cinnamon adds a great, interesting flavor to the yeast rolls. It's just something I discovered. Goes well, really well. Okay, all the butter is melted. So we're going to add our sugar. Remember, we've already added our salt. And then to that, we're going to add 3/4 cups, just kind of whole milk. You can do, oh, oh wow, this whole milk is doing good. There we go. And then we're going to wait for that to heat. While we're waiting for that to heat, we're going to bring out the beast, my machine that will be used to basically knead the dough. So we're going to move you back a hair. There we go. Cover this a little bit. And we're going to bring out our machine. It's my Cuisinart. Yep. And we'll have a closer cam view of this. But yeah, this is a 7-quart Cuisinart. My husband bought this for me for a birthday present many, many years ago. I love it. We're only going to need to use the dough hook right here. And so it's kind of the only thing we need to use. Just quickly so you guys can see me. View works out better. And I do not know why there's a pen inside of the sink. Uh, oh, yeah, I was making a list before, must have fallen in. Okay, so while the milk is warming, and I'm going to be watching it so it doesn't overheat, we're going to get to yeast. What you need is 2 packages of yeast, which comes out to, because I buy the extra large yeast from Sam's, and you want active dry instant yeast. If you use active dry, it just takes a lot longer to roast, right? But I have instant yeast that I use from Sam's. That's in there. And so the good thing is when you get this kind of large yeast, what happens is there's a measurement for each packet of yeast. So I know that's 2 tablespoons because I use this often. You're going to add that into the thing, put this back in the fridge. You always keep your yeast in the fridge, don't keep them in a cupboard because keep it preserved longer. It does go bad after a while, which is why, because yeast can go bad, this is why we're going to do something called proofing the yeast. And what does that mean? We're going to add hot water, not hot water, warm water to dissolve it so that we can see where it's been. Let's see. So as you can see, I'm turning on the water because I need to get it hot, but not hot. I want warm water about 120 degrees. So you want lukewarm to the touch. That is what makes the most sense. So kind of running water. There we go. Now it's getting warm. Cool it down. You just want it warm to the touch. And that's about 120, between 115 and 120 degrees. If you have a candy thermometer, I never use that anymore. I've been making this bread recipe that I created it around when I was 14. And so I have been, yeah, it's been a long time. It's like 30 years. 1994 is about when I made this. And so you're going to add just a little bit of water, about a quarter to half a cup of water, enough to dissolve it. And let's do that phone view so you can see. So this is what it looks like in the inside. And we're just dissolving it until it fully dissolves. The amount of water is not important. Just don't add too much. You don't want a cup. So like between a quarter cup, maybe actually a third of a cup, and a half a cup at max. That's really the max. You don't want it too much. Okay, so now it's fully dissolved. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do the thing that causes it to proof, and that is add sugar. So let's get there. We're going to add, a teaspoon of sugar. That's what I'm topping in. Doesn't matter how much you add either. That's the amount of sugar that you add is immaterial. What you're trying to do is you're going to add it and dissolve it inside of there. The purpose of that is to waken yeast. So yeast is when it's dried, it is sterile. Not sterile. What's the word? It's not awake. So it's alive, but it's kind of asleep. And so what you need to do is to wake it up, and that's what the warm water does. And then, by the way, what I'm doing is I'm checking the temperature of the, I'm checking the temperature of the milk. And so, you don't want it too hot. So it will dissolve the sugar in the milk. And liquid, you just need to be careful that it's not too hot because otherwise it'll kill the yeast. But again, the yeast is asleep. And so what we're going to do is we're going to wake it up by warming it up, so that takes the cold, and then they're hungry. And so this is how you know if the yeast is dead, there's nothing to eat. So yeast eats sugar. So the yeast creates a chemical reaction. When you add sugar to yeast, yeast eats it and it creates a waste byproduct, and that is carbon dioxide. That's what's going to rise the bread. And so if your yeast is alive, it will start consuming the sugar I just added in there, and then it will start to bubble up. That's how you know it's alive. You see, because bread takes about 4 hours to make, you do not want to wait 4 hours to realize that your yeast was bad. So you test it at the very beginning, because if it's bad, you just toss this out. Get some new yeast. Go to a grocery store, get some new yeast and stuff like that. But you have to proof your yeast, make sure that it's alive. And it takes about 10 minutes before it proofs. So while we're doing that, I'm going to be adding um, my dough hook in. I'm going to be watching my liquids. So and one of the things is if it gets too hot, you just cool it down with some milk. And so you feel it with you want it to be warm to the touch, just like the liquid, the water that you added to the yeast. So, like I said, this is how we make Paradise yeast rolls. Well, I'm going to be watching my oven, because again, I am roasting poblano peppers here. So on broil, so take a look. They're going to be used later. So I have it on low broil in the middle so I don't burn, because I'm doing a lot and talking to you guys. So I want to flip these around so that they get there, and I'm putting them in the middle rack, not that, because broil is heat from the top, and I have a low and a high, and I usually do high, but because I'm talking to you guys and distracted, I don't want to let them burn. By the way, I've already roasted two right here, so you can see where we're going for. This is what we're going for, is this action, so the skin will peel off, but these are the first two, and I'd get Brian to go buy some more. So we're working that. Our yeast is proofing. Our milk is heating. Is it at the right temperature? Is almost at the right temperature. Yes, it's at the right temperature. In fact, it may be too hot, so I'm going to take it off the heat and turn that off. There we go. Like I said, we're going to be making multiple things today, so hang on. Alright, just need to check some things off screen. Alright, so I'm going to leave the sugar here. While we are doing that, I'm going to go grab 4 eggs. And while the yeast is proofing, we need about 4 eggs. You can use egg beaters, but whole eggs are better. So I'm just going to put them right here. They don't need to be brought up to room temperature. They're fine if they're cold. It's good if you bring them up to room temperature, but you don't need to. So I'm just gonna bring 4 of those, right, to get them ready. We'll crack them directly into. Yep. So this is where we do one thing at a time for a little bit. Let's see what happens when I switch to the phone view. Okay, good. It's going to work out. So, I put my eggs right here, just so while I'm waiting for the yeast to proof, while I'm keeping watch over, and I'm just going to be a little right here, tossing some stuff into the trash. Like I told you guys, I like to use a trash bag here for waste products, just that in the sink just makes things easier, so I don't have to go all the way across the trash all the time. So, okay, so just watching. One of the problems is I haven't figured out how to get a tool that is going to merge all the chat streams. I'm looking for that. If y'all have a suggestion, let me know. So right now, a lot of people are on Facebook, and I see Twitch naturally, but I don't see Facebook, so I actually have to go to a second screen. Happy New Year, Alex. It's great to see you. And so we are, like I said, we're making yeast rolls right now. We're going to be making moi moi. We're going to be making an okra soup, which is something for my mom and me. I like to eat. These are Nigerian dishes. Then we're going to make a pineapple upside down cake surprise for my husband because he didn't tell me this, but I found out over Christmas it's one of his favorite cakes, which I don't know how many years we've been together since 2004, and I'm just learning this. I was like, oh, okay, well, we're going to do that for the new year. This is a little New Year's gift. And we're going to make some stuffed mushrooms, and then we're going to also make some. Well, we're gonna do pulled pork tomorrow, but we have to season it and get it ready. It's for the fridge so that it's a hard rub that we're going to be doing on it. And so it's looking, oh yeah, our yeast is proofing nicely. So let's switch to the phone view so you guys can get a good view of this. So do you see how, you see that foam in there? That is goodness right there. That foam, all those bubbles, that means your yeast is alive. So it is ready to proceed with the next steps. So you don't have to wait. As long as you see it proofing and proofing quickly, like about 10 minutes is enough. So now we're going to, let's see if I can get my camera to, a little lined better. We're going to add 4 eggs. Normally, my original recipe required 2 eggs. I'm finding adding a little bit more eggs creates a nice, denser yeast roll. Um, and I like my yeast roll sweet. That's why there's a lot of sugar in it. But you don't have to add as much sugar as I did. The original recipe calls for cup. In fact, I'm actually going to add more sugar because I just realized I did a cup of milk and I actually need to add sugar. So it's usually 1.5 to 1, 1.5 to 1 is the ratio of milk to sugar. And just adding a little bit more sugar into the milk mixture. Because it's warm, that sugar dissolves like almost instantly. Okay. Yeah, and so the liquid is a little too hot because you just get, and that's the beauty of this is that you can just go, this is not hard measurements because the flour just kind of works. And so you're going to add cold milk from the fridge to cool the milk sugar mixture down. Just needed a little something there to cool it down. I hadn't heard that song in a long time. Being all some 90s hits. There we go. Ah, perfect. Perfecto. All right. Take our cinnamon, sugar, salt mixture, and it's gonna look like a goo. And notice I did not beat the eggs. You do not need to beat the eggs at all. Just toss them into this mixture. Even if you're doing it by hand, you don't need to do that. That's gonna happen when we knead the dough. So good. So you guys can see, this is kind of what it looks like right now. And so we're going to uh, move it into the mixer. Yeah. And let's see, I don't know which camera view works best for this. So I'm trying to get it's annoying something. There we go. At least these are not as annoying as the KitchenAid mixers that have the little hook that clamps because they don't flip up the way they should. There we go. All right. There is actually a cover here, and I don't like to use it because I add stuff to this as it goes. So let's see. Let me see. I need to bring my phone cam, but I'm worried that it's going to fall in. Let's see what happens when I do the gimbal. Okay, so if I move it over, okay, you guys can see, and I can actually move it around. Okay, we're gonna do this. We'll see how this goes. Hopefully I don't knock my camera down. So we're gonna take flour. I like to add a mix of whole wheat flour, usually about a cup or 2 of whole wheat flour. and the rest is bread flour or unbleached flour. Either one works. Do not ever use self-rising flour. Ever. Self-rising flour has salt and will kill the yeast completely. So let's see, where is the bread flour that remained? Oh, I think I used all of it. I don't think I did. I know I didn't use all of my bread flour over Christmas. Oh, I guess I did. Huh. All right, well, unbleached flour it is. So what we're gonna do is typically, this is about 6 to 9 cups. I'm gonna add a lot of flour, probably about 4 cups of regular flour to that. We're gonna continue to add flour as this goes. So, oops, I didn't put this up in here right. There we go. You need to set it to no more than 4. We're going to continue to add flour to it. But first we're going to let it mix and incorporate everything in. It will beat the eggs. And increase the speed just a little bit. As you can see, it's now broken all the eggs, mixed them in, and it's making a little dough, and it's incredibly sticky dough, and we don't want sticky dough. We want to keep adding flour. You know when it's done, when it starts, and this is called the master because I've been making this so long, I know how much flour to add. But you keep adding flour until, as it forms a dough ball, it will stop sticking to the sides of the container that you're making in it. Be it if you're doing it by hand, it stops sticking to your hands and stops sticking to the surface. That's when the dough is kneaded, it has enough flour, and it's fully kneaded. So I'm just gonna kind of keep going. Yeah, nice dough. Yep, just kind of going. This is the one thing that I have to make kind of one at a time because I can't do a lot of things at the same time. Other than check our poblano peppers, which I'm just gonna break from the camera just so you guys can see what's going on there. Yep, there. One side is roasted on the poblano peppers, so we're going to flip them. While this is cooking, we're going to flip these because now they're mostly done. We want it so that the skin starts coming off, so you don't want to over roast it till it's burnt, but until the skin starts coming off. So yeah, put them back in the oven. Back to the phone view. You can see we're making a dough now. But time for a lot more flour because it is quite sticky. What's so cool about bread is it will actually incorporate all of that as it spins. That's the wonderful action of kneading. Don't add too much, otherwise it will spill out of your container. As you can see, it's forming a little dust. I added just a little too much for the moment, but it'll be fine. You see it starts eating that. You can see at the very bottom there's some stickiness. It's not done. Just kind of keep adding flour. It's starting to get there. Okay, just a couple more spins and it will be done. I hope you all had a good New Year. Um, you all didn't drink too much last night. I just went to bed. I mean, made it to midnight and then I had to turn into a pumpkin. There's a lot of fireworks, but very little in my neighborhood. My neighborhood used to have a lot of kids, and now that they're older, they all have their own kids. They don't live here, so it's their parents. And so now that there's not really that many kids in the neighborhood, there's hardly any fireworks on during events. It used to be like this was rival being downtown Houston at the Power of Houston. It was my neighborhood. It was crazy. And there was not a single just actually two houses did fireworks. That's it. A lot in the surrounding neighborhood. You could hear it loudly, but not much inside of my neighborhood, which is kind of crazy. Anyway, um, just kind of watching this and taking a look at how it's going. And okay, so as you can see coming back, it's kind of splattered out in the dough. That's a sign that it's not done. We need a lot more flour to make that thing congeal. That's why having one of these machines makes it so much easier than kneading it by hand. It takes a lot of muscle. I used to do that. I'm getting too old for that. There we go. Just a little bit more flour. Let's watch those poblano peppers. Oh yeah, they're roasting rather nicely. Okay, we're getting there. Yeah, I don't know if you can see how it's starting to peel off the sides. We're almost there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. See those sides at the bottom? It's almost scraped clean. It's pretty much we're done, but I want to see what happens when this little piece here folds into itself. As you see, it's forming a little pinch at this side, so that will move up, and then it will come down, and if it comes down and doesn't stick, we kind of know we're pretty much there. Yeah, I can feel it. It is done. I'm going to let it knead just a little bit, but I don't need to add more flour. But as you can see, it is pretty much done. Yeah, kneading it. I'm just going to add just a little pinch of flour in my hands. little mess. Oh yeah, that's good stuff. There, good stuff. See that? One more. And see how those bottoms right there are completely clean. That's when you know the bread's done. Yeah, I just I wanted it to do a good kneading. I'm gonna move those little pieces together. There we go. Let's have it. I want to make sure it's fully incorporated. And so I don't want my machine to overheat. But no, it's pretty good. All right, we're good. All right, so that noise is done. So we're gonna move our cam back. Get our views a little bit better. I'm gonna try to. Oh, whoops. Oh, I accidentally. Uh-oh. I have it in the wrong view. Uh, oh, that's it. I turned it off by mistake. I turned my gimbal off. There we go. There we go. Accidentally pressed the power button on my gimbal and turned it off. All right. Sorry about that. So we're gonna switch views and we're gonna get this dough right out of our here. There we go. Gonna take this machine, I'm gonna do a little cleaning just to, all it is just has some light flour on the side, so the good thing is if you don't make a mess, you don't have to do a lot of cleaning on this. A little light water. I love this thing. This is a 7-quart Cuisinart, not 5, 7 quarts. It's almost near industrial size. You can't get these anymore, and so I thank my husband for buying this for me because he knew exactly what I wanted. As, God, this was so many years ago. There we go. And take that out of the way. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to transfer this into another container. And I'm going to put this here because we're going to use that container to make some other stuff. So let's see what we can do. So let's see what happens. Or is the other view better? Well, actually, I think that will work better than the phone view. Yeah, it's going to work better. So the first thing we're going to do is butter our container. Cooking spray, important stuff. You could use regular butter and stuff. Cooking spray is just faster. Really want a liberal dose of cooking spray because we don't want, as it rises, for it to stick to the bowl. A metal bowl is best because that will conduct heat and help the rising, because the next thing is you're going to put this in a warm spot. So to get this dough off, you usually take your flour your hands a little bit, and then you just use your hands, scrape it off the dough hook first, because it is a little sticky, but it's it's not massively sticky. And you're slowly going to use flour to get it all off. You want all that dough off the hook, like this. You want all that dough off the hook. Let's get that going. There we go. There we go. Alright, just want all of that off of the dough hook. Alright, now I'll bring this here. You guys can see a little bit better. I'm just gonna, again, use flour in your hands. Dig it out. of the container because it sticks to the wall just a little bit, but it's fine. You just want to use flour on the insides to get it out. It's big dough. Oh, come on. Wow. You just don't want to come out. There you go. That's where we are. That's where it looks like, but I'm not going to put it in there. I'm going to wait till I incorporate all the pieces from the inside. And don't worry, I always clean my surfaces so kitchen surface is clean, because sometimes I make a like double or triple dose, so I get it started in this container, kind of does make a mess, and then I finish it off by kneading right here on this surface. That's when I have a lot of guests, like I did for Christmas a week and a half ago. Christmas was just a week ago. All right, you want all these little pieces from the inside of the container, and we're going to put this in here, and then get all them little bits. And we're just going to do a quick knead. Notice, see how it's not sticking to anything? And yes, you want all those little bits because those have yeast and rising. And put them in the center. There we go. Now you have a nice, firm bread dough. So here's the last piece of technique. When we put it in our metal bowl, and I could have risen it in the other bowl. The reason why I'm not doing that is I'm actually going to use it to make pineapple upside down cake. So we just put it in here in the grease thing and flip it around the grease like that. And then, last thing, going to make sure cooking spray is all over it because you don't want dry crusted edges. Cooking spray or oil. If you don't have oil, you can use, I'm running out of cooking spray. There we go. I'm actually out of it. So that goes toss into the trash. That's it. And then the last thing you do is you cover it with a dish towel, cloth. If you don't have cloth, paper towels. And you now need to put this in the warmest spot in the house. For the moment, that's right here on top of my oven, but I will take it off of there in a second. All right. So now we have made paradise yeast rolls. We're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to be right back. All right, we are back. Let me change the recipe name. If I can type. All right, so that's what we're going to be making right now. We're going to be making moi moi, which is a bean curd paste. Um, that is indigenous to all people in Nigeria. And so this is how we eat. I like to eat black-eyed peas. So we start off with dried black-eyed peas, like that you normally get. Now the good thing is in Nigerian stores, they already have the skins peeled off because you can't have the skins. There are just a few. So what they do is they take it. The way you remove the skins off of black-eyed peas is you put it in hot water or warm water for about 15 to 20 minutes. They'll hydrate and the skins will just peel off. You just squeeze them with your hands. And then they will float to the top of the water. You drain the water and keep repeating and squeezing until all the skins are off. And so what they do is they probably do that process and then they dry it back. And so now you have the already peeled. Well, they mostly peeled. There's some pieces in here that are not peeled, but I have them in white hot water to rehydrate because I have to have all the skins off. So they're going to be just kind of sitting right here. Um, uh, I'm going to switch to our main and close-up view because I'm going to be um, oh, 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 camera's falling down. There we go. There we go. While this is going, we are going to get our onions ready. Um, and so for that, we need probably 1.5 for this amount. Let's use the larger one. And the other thing we're going to do is we're going to prep for our okra stew that we're going to be doing. We need to cook some goat meat. So actually I'm going to go ahead and start chopping all of the onions sort of ready right now. So for that we're going to need a third onion. So while the beans are sort of softening and hydrating, it doesn't take that long. I'm just going to go ahead and cut these onions and get them ready. Um, I have my bread here. I don't think you guys could see that, so where's the phone view? This is the bread, it's just sitting right here, rising in the heat, but we're gonna have to move it because I need to get that pot that okay, that pot there. This is a pot of what we call okra, which is stockfish, which has been um, cooking and rehydrating. We're gonna use this to make the okra soup, but I'll just add the onions that I chop up over there. Oh, there we go. Okay, good, that works up. So for the moi moi, we're not actually going to chop it because what's going to happen is we're going to blend it. This will be done in a mixer. So we just need the onion, just in little cubes like that because it's going to literally be pureed with the black-eyed peas. So, and to this we need 1.5 onions. Oh, okay. Now the poblano peppers are done. You can see them now. Hmm. They are done, as you guys can see. Before they completely desiccate inside. Oh, one of them is not done. How interesting. Let's see, how many are not done? Oh, 2. Okay. Well, we'll take the done ones off right now. And flip them around. I've actually set it to high. And get done fast, a little faster. Um, I have a plate on the other side that I'm keeping my already. You need to have the poblano peppers roasted and cooled so that you can peel the skins off. So while that one is going, we'll do the last half onion for our moi moi. Like I said, they're just going to keep them in a bowl right here and a plate just to get ready for when we do our blending. As I told you, we don't. This is not really chopping them. We're just getting ready. So these are just going to be here. We'll keep them here to the side. Um, the next is we're going to prepare our goat meat for the okra soup. And so I will be boiling goat meat for a while, and so that's why we're going to get that boil going now. And so we boil it in onions and thyme and water, nothing else. You don't want all the flavors of other things going in there. So this is actually, we will dice and rough dice an onion. And we will add these directly into the pot that we're going to be boiling them in. I'll add water in this stuff later. Okay. Ooh, yes. Yes. Poblanos are done. Turn the broiler off. Let's leave that there for a second. So Alex said that you were going to be making cabbages. That's awesome. Boiled cabbages. Hi, Latasha. Great to see you. And it's a Voji. I don't know if you're still here with me. I said the moi moi, which we will do in a second as soon as I get the meat boiling. So I like to do Nigerian things and American things on New Year's Day. I love to cook, and yeah, I got a little late started because I just wanted to sleep. I've been traveling a lot and done 2,500 miles in the last 5 days, and I'm just driving and just a little tired. And rough chop, rough dice. You don't care about this too much, you just want them diced because they'll cook down. And this is how I dice stuff. There we go. There we go. I put that all in the pot. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to leave my oven open because I eventually want to rise my bread in the oven. But I'm going to take the bread out and I'm going to move it to a preferable spot on top of a refrigerator. It's out of the way, but we'll leave the door open. And now that these peppers are done, we're going to transfer them to the plate. Actually, I'll put them right here for a little bit. Just for a quick second, I need to get this dish out of here so that it can cool down before I can wash it. There we go. Alright, we're going to put our goat meat to be boiling. Get that stove view cam kind of working. There you go. Alright. So as you can see, I have my diced onions in here, and to that I'm going to add goat meat. We will boil. Goat meat takes a long time to cook, so you have to cook it before I add the chuck beef and the chicken. Okay. So it's going to be about 45 minutes while this is boiling. I buy my goat meat from Food Town because they have really good prices. Goat meat tends to be expensive, but we eat that at home. We don't do lamb because lamb, you don't have lambs in Nigeria. But you need something like goat meat and chicken. Goat meat, is just a staple of ours, and I'm making this for Mom, so I want for her it to taste like home. And so you can see I am adding water, and gonna fill it up to half because it's going to be boiling for a very long time. So it will reduce a lot of its water, so you want a lot of water to start with. Alright, putting that back. Alright, I'll turn the fire on, and so I'm gonna season it with salt and seasoned salt. Where is my seasoned salt? Where are you hiding? Where's my salt? Oh my goodness. Things are not where they're supposed to be. Where did that go? Oh, haha. And then we need, oh good God, where did the salt go? Certain things have moved, gotten feet. I hate it when things get feet in my kitchen. Usually my husband has cleaned and organized, and I don't know whatever said organization, so I have to decipher things sometimes in my pantry. And I need another thing of cooking spray, don't I? Oh, okay. Well, okay, so that's gonna be in a second. Okay, there we go. That's not opened. Okay, so we have our seasoned salt, and then we have thyme. There we go. All right, I'm gonna add a little bit of thyme. This is for the boil. I'll season salt. And we're also gonna add salt because seasoned salt is not salty. It is salty, but it's not it needs a little bit of salination because that meat will absorb it. We're also gonna add, this is interesting, this is African pepper. You guys can't see close up and, oops, wrong way. So this is African pepper. It's the pepper we grow in Nigeria. It's very hot. It's not Cameroon pepper though. That that's a different kind of heat. That is some serious heat there, but it has a very great flavor to that. Okay, so here we go. And that's just gonna kind of cook right there. And I need to get a drink from the fridge. No alcohol. No, I just need something with sugar. My blood sugar is starting to run a little low. Okay. Y'all can't see the oven, but I left it open so that it can cool down. Oh yeah, those poblano peppers are doing great things. Almost forgot to add a little bit of salt. They always use kosher salt because the salt crystals are bigger, it's easier to measure. All right, now that you have that, put the cover on that, and now it's time for us to focus on our moi moi. So as you can see right here, our beans have risen. It started off down here. I don't know if you guys can't see. Let me switch to the phone view. Maybe that will be better. Yeah, there you go. So this used to be down here, and it has risen up here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little bit of cleaning. I'm waiting for the you guys will see the thing here in the sink. I'm waiting for it to soak a little bit. So what we're doing is we are squeezing the beans because there are a few of them that have skins. You see some of the skins right here. I don't know if I can get my camera angled. There we go. Let me see if I can angle that a little so it's easier to see. There we go. You can see some of the skins floating in the water. And so what we're going to do is we're going to just toss the water. And now in this phase, you use cold water instead of warm. The good thing is, had this been regular black-eyed peas, I mean this is regular black-eyed peas, but had this been with the skin, we'd do this process over and over again. It's nice that when you buy this version of well, it's not a version, it's just, the skins are already off, because, you know, Nigerians know we don't eat the skins unless we boil black-eyed peas by themselves with salt. Um, and it's something we do, but when we do moi moi, we actually want the bean paste. Um, And so this saves so much time to have it with the skins already off. But sometimes as they do, the few of them kind of remain, so you have to do this process, but this takes so much less time if every black-eyed pea had its skin. Um, as you can see, we are tossing this out. Oh, just realized this is zoomed out. There we go. There we go. There we go. Oh yeah, now this is ready. Just a few more, just a little bit skins coming off. I'm looking. It's like pretty much I think I got it all. It's kind of, we're good. All right. So we're going to be using the phone cam a lot. Up, up, and zoom, and down. All right. There we go. Something like that. Anybody come asking questions? Hi Diane, it's great to see you again. Like I said, we're making moi moi, which is a traditional Nigerian black-eyed. The best way of doing black-eyed peas is a bean curd pudding. So let me make sure I have everything I need. So now that the beans are peeled and they're ready to go, I'm going to move things to the side. I'm actually going to do something. I'm going to prepare a couple of the poblano peppers. So as you can see, these are my roasted poblano peppers. Phone view. These are my roasted poblano peppers. And I have I'm going to be using a lot of them for different things. So we're going to be using 4. Let me use the first that were here. And 4, and then the other 4 are going to be for our okra soup. And so we are going to peel them. And I'm gonna put them in a little tray. I actually like to save these little trays that meat and chicken come off of, clean them, because they come in handy for being a temporary spot for when we cook. So as you can see, when you roast poblano peppers, the skins just come right off. So what we want to do is we want to peel and take the seeds out, put them in the bowl. Normally, moi moi calls for red pepper, and this is the red bell peppers. And I found this little alteration of, call it Nigerian fusion, because poblano peppers tend to be considered Hispanic as a Hispanic ingredient. And I have found the flavor is so great in moi moi and stuff like that. I don't know why we don't cook with them in Nigeria, because these do grow there. I've seen them, but they're not common. We like to have things a lot hotter. Um, and I'm the weird Nigerian that doesn't like food very hot. I love spice, but spice and heat are not the same thing. People think that spice and heat in America are, they're not. You can have food that is spicy that is not hot. It has a lot of different flavors. I would consider some Indian food that I have that is not hot, but has a lot of various spices from cumin, and it's not hot. I don't like food hot per se. Um, I like food with a lot of flavor and spice. I know y'all disagree with me, but that is how I see it. You can see the skin just kind of peels off, and you just toss it. And you want the flesh part without the seeds happening. And so, there we go. Oh, okay. There we go. There. Some of the skins are just being a little annoying. I just realized I think I've zoomed in too much, so we're going to zoom out just a hair. I can see a little bit more. There we go. All right, number 4. And pull out those seeds like that. Now use the sink to wash them out because now they're just in there. You can leave the capsaicin. So the capsaicin is this little vine right here. That's in this vein here. This is where the heat in a lot of other peppers is. I leave the capsaicin on these on. I always leave the capsaicin veins in poblano peppers. Now you might want to take them out in a habanero if you want to reduce the heat. That's where a lot of the heat is stored. I believe the name of peppers like this are called capsicums, and so because they have the capsaicin vein and that the I can't remember that's if it's capsaicin, not venom. That's what causes the heat in our tongues. So anyway, we're down to the last one. We're going to peel the skins off. I would like to use cold water to wash the seeds out. Perfect. And peel that skin off. The skin just peels off, and that's what happens when you. And this will happen to pretty much any pepper if you roast it. You can roast it in a broiler, which I think is the best way of doing it. Or you can roast them on top of a stove. If you have a gas stove, you can do that. Roast it over an open flame, like marshmallows. It all works. Just be careful. You don't want to burn them, per se. The char is okay. Charring is okay. Burning, no. You don't want carbon. Carbon is not good eats, as Alton Brown would say. All right. So now I have my peppers. I have my bean already peeled, and I have my onions sitting over here, which I'm going to bring over. And so the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to move the order of these around, and move my camera a little bit, is we're going to bring out our blender, because all this has to be blended. So bring out the big guns, the Ninja. I have another blender. There we go. I have actually 2 Ninjas. There we go. A mini Ninja blender, and a big one that I use for smoothies and stuff. All right, where are you hiding? There you are. Looking for its container. There we go. All right. I've forgotten how this thing works. There we go. Just sometimes things are frozen shut. Okay. Now, how does this fit? Oh, did I bring out the wrong? This is actually the wrong one. Oh, that means the other one. This is the one for the big one. So where is the container for the small one? So I think this belongs to the big one. Yeah, it does. I guess I'll bring the big one out, but I don't know what Brian did with the small one, because that's really what I need. All right, this is my big Ninja. This, I didn't really want to use the big Ninja, but yeah, you may wonder what's the difference. The big Ninja was a wedding gift from my friends Bindu and Jason. Thank you so much. I love them. And it will do the same thing. It's just it's huge, and I use it for when I need to do a lot of other kinds of cooking and a lot of smoothie ice breaking and stuff like that. All right. Yeah, this just snaps in. It's like that was so much easier. All right, so the way it works is we're going to add about half of the, we're going to do this in two. So we're going to add half of the um, beans. We're going to add half of the peppers. We're going to add half of the onions. Matter of fact, I can put them all together in because we're going to do another half of it in a second. And then we are going to add a lot of water. Now we're going to blend, baby, blend. Oh, oops. There you go. I know, it's kind of cool. Yeah. Blend, baby, blend. All right. All right, let's take a look and see its consistency. You want it fully pureed. It's almost fully pureed. It needs a lot. And while that's pureeing, I'm going to get the container. I'm mixing it all in. Ah, there we go. That's it. That's what it's supposed to be. All right, let's look at that consistency. Yeah, it is fully pureed. We're going to pour that in here, and you guys get another view of it. So typically we use red pepper because that gives it a red color, but no, I'm adding it for flavor. And I would have added a red pepper, but I was like, eh. So now we're going to do the last set. Pouring everything in there. Again, you guys are like, what is he making? Like I said, we're making moi moi. So it's a great Nigerian thing. So what's going to happen is after I blend this, I'm going to season it. And then we're going to add some fat. We're going to add some seasonings. You know, it's all good. Uh-oh, whoops. And then just finicky. Okay, we're gonna remove this. We're gonna take it that way. Much easier to put this lid on. Oh, did I get the wrong side? Oh, I did. Aha, that's why it wouldn't close. Ninjas are designed to be safe, so they have to open and close in the same spot. Oh, and I forgot my water. I'm gonna add some water. I think I added just a little too much the last time. And this is a little too much as well, so we're going to dump some of that water out because we can always add more. You don't want it too soft. The more water you add, the softer the moi moi, and so you just have to do the consistency. There you go. It just has to go until it's done. We are going to see how the consistency is. Oh yeah, and the water I added was just right. Took out was good because that will remove the consistency. It was a little too thin for the first batch, but when we mix it together, it'll be good. It just needs just a little bit more blending. There we go. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Now, I need my spatula because not only are we going to stir it, we're going to add spices to it. Yeah, see, this one's much more viscous. Careful with that thing. Just let it fall in, because you can cut yourself on a Ninja very badly if you're not careful. Just getting all that goodness out. So I have to get all of the stuff. I know I was raised that way. Never waste food. There we go. Perfect. Perfecto. I'm just gonna get the lid, which has goodness all over it too. As much as you can. I'm gonna dump that into the water because we're gonna do a load of dishes. There we go. There we go. All right. And careful with that blade. It's almost cut us several times. Perfect. All right. Now we're going to take the Ninja base out so we have room. We can do the next phase of stuff. Yeah, my oven is now cool, so I'm gonna go, it's 101 degrees in the oven, so we're gonna go put our bread back in the oven to rise. So you want it in its warmest spot. I'm actually turning the oven on for a quick second so it can heat the element on. All right. So we're gonna just stir a little bit of the moi moi. And so to it, we're going to add fat. What kind of fat? Canola oil. About a quarter to half a cup of canola oil. I'm waiting for my oven to turn on. Yep, it's once the temperature starts increasing, I turn it off. So you don't want to cook the bread. You're gonna add oil, and we're also gonna add some more water. Because like I said, you can add water, but you can't take it away. I think this is where my close-up cam works better. There we go. That's the fat we're mixing in. In fact, it needs more. And how do I know? I've made this so many times, I just kind of know it needs a little bit more oil. And then we're going to start adding a couple of spices. We're going to add nutmeg. We're actually going to add something we call moi moi seasoning, which is a couple of ingredients, and I like using this because it has salt in it as well. And it adds great flavor to it. And then we're going to add the meat, corned beef. So it also needs just a little bit more water. And then, of course, I can't forget the most important ingredient to make moi 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 is that you have to add what we call crayfish. And this is a spice that has a very pungent, it's basically you take crawdads that you guys would call crawdads in Louisiana. We take them, we dry them. This is the spice, it's called crayfish. Um, you take the spice, you take the they're little shrimpy kind of things, but they're not shrimp. They're in that family, and then you dry them, and then in the sun, and then you grind them into a powder like this. And this gives moi moi and a lot of Nigerian recipes their distinctive flavor. That combined with the nutmeg. I'm looking, water needs a little bit more water. Like so, you can always add water. You can't take it away. And so, the more water you add, the softer the moi moi is. I don't want my mom complaining, "Oh, the moi moi came out too hard." You want it I don't even know what this consistency is. This is like a thick gravy. And so now we taste to see if we have enough salt. And we can use some more seasoning, which also has a little bit of pepper in it, which is good. Because normally, and I'm kind of feeling it, I would add a pinch of our Nigerian pepper. And just to give it just a little bit more of a kick. The poblano peppers don't add heat per se, they add a smoky flavor to it. Yeah, poblano peppers have a little bit of heat, but not that much. It just needs a little bit more crayfish. There we go. Once you season it to the level that you want, you have enough salt. Notice I'm not adding salt because salt is in the moi moi seasoning. I will only add salt if I don't want more seasoning and it's not the right flavor, because I've added a whole bunch of stuff right now. So there we go. So we taste. Mm. Use just a pinch of seasoned salt. And a dash of just regular salt. That should do it. You can see right here, our meat is boiling. Our goat meat's boiling, so that's what we're going to do next is okra soup. After I do a little cleanup here, because there's a lot of stuff that needs to be cleaned up. All right. Now we're going to taste. Mm-hmm. Perfect. We'll do it. Oh yeah, the hint of pepper is just good. Probably should add more, but I won't. Mom doesn't like it too hot. There we go. That should do it. And now we have moi moi. So the last thing that we add, and this depends on what part of Nigeria you're from. Um, I have always grown up with adding corned beef. So I've always added corned beef. I have no idea why corned beef still comes in this container that's like a death trap. Why it's not in like a resealable container. I mean, it's the traditional British way of serving corned beef, but I'm sorry. I think there's time. It's time for them to fix the container of corned beef, put it in a plastic, like Spam, flip top. This thing, when you have to unroll it like this, is dangerous. The metal edges are so sharp. I've cut myself a couple of times opening a container of corned beef, but eh, that's enough complaining and whining. Um, Back to the phone view. So I'm going to take our corned beef, now that I've opened it. I'm using the whole container. You're going to just spit little chunks of it into the liquid. And let's do that close-up view. You just want little chunks. And as you make chunks, you stir. Stir it down. You don't want to break the chunks as you're stirring. You want just lightly stir. You just want little chunks. So what happens is, and that's why you control for salt, because corned beef is extremely salty. So it will add salt to the flavor when people bite onto the little pieces, which is a lot of fun when you have it. So you're wondering, how do we cook moi moi? Well, moi moi is cooked in indirect heat. Best indirect heat, steaming. So we are going to steam this in containers, little serving containers, and until it's done. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour of steam cooking. Almost done. Trying to make sure I don't cut my fingers on the edges. Like I said, corned beef is dangerous. There we go. It's all good. I have all that corned beef inside. And there we go. Now we have a moi moi base that is ready for cooking. So we're going to get our little containers. Tasting it. Oh yeah. That's the good stuff. That's the good stuff. So what we're going to do is my husband doesn't want to be on camera, but he has no choice because he's coming in here. So I'm going to do the close-up cam so that you can see this. So this is what we're baking these in, is these little tins. I got them from the Nigerian store to make it so much easier. Traditional moi moi is wrapped in banana leaves. So you actually form a little tent, put it inside of banana leaves, and steam them that way. And that's how it's done in Nigeria. But I don't know, do not know how to do that. So we're just going to do it the old-fashioned way. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my steamer pot ready. Swap it with my okra soup for a second so you guys can see what's going on. And I'm going to put my trivet inside. Actually, this metal trivet is better. That will raise it. Then we are going to, I'll switch to the phone view so you guys can see a little bit better. It's easier to show you guys this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a tin. And what's nice is they come with these aluminum sided lids. And so always the lids are down, but we're just going to take a couple of these, get them ready. And so we always spray them first. And, oh, I'm out of cooking spray. No, I am not out of, oh, no, it's hiding in the back. There you go. Okay. Gonna spray it with some cooking spray inside there. And I think close-up cam is even better. And then we're going to scoop up 2/3 of the way to the top. Because a moi moi rises like a loaf of bread. Speaking of bread, making sure my oven's not too hot. Yep, it's not. And then we just put the lid. Remember, silver side touching the moi moi. And you don't have to do that. You just cover it. Put that lid on it. And this is how we have bean curd pudding, Nigerian style. I almost forgot to add my water to my pot. I'm just adding enough water to the level of the trivet that's inside of there. Trivet's the thing that keeps it cool. And we're just going to layer inside of the pot. And just so you can see, this is what it looks like in here, inside of my pot. And so I'm just going to layer all the way around, you know. So, you know, I'm putting it back on the fire. So with the next, you just kind of do this until you run out. Yeah, this is where it gets boring and tedious. Any questions from anybody? Just looking, wasn't seeing any questions. So. All right, we're going to keep doing this. And so we're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to clean up. All right, thanks. Alright, everybody, it's time to get back to things with my husband. Oh, he's being weird. You'll be fine. He's helping me clean and he's being weird. Let's change our recipe. Let's see, how do I go edit that scene? Title. Nope, that is not the right thing. There we go. Alright, there we go. So we are making Nigerian okra stew, and one of the things that you'll see that I need to do is I need to chop okra. I had actually done a lot of it yesterday, but we are out of some of it. Oh, uh-oh. I don't know what happened to my camera. There we go. There we go. Gimbal was being weird. There we go. So you guys can see what I'm doing. So I'm chopping okra. Our okra stews are slimy because that's what okra does. We're going to add something called obona, which is a spice. Um, so making okra stew, remember the pot here that I had with goat meat? Well, the goat meat's two-thirds of the way done. Once that's happened, maybe halfway to two-thirds, you add chuck beef to it because chuck beef takes some time to cook. And then you add additional seasonings. So one of the things I did is I took all the rest of those poblano peppers that I'd cut, peeled them, and then I ground them into a slurry. So just water and the poblano pepper skins, and add it to the water right here that's boiling. Um, and I'll show you what it looks like. And I just added a little crayfish to it, the same spice that you saw before, and some bouillon cubes for seasoning and taste. Um, we'll probably add some more Nigerian pepper, African pepper to it because I want it to have a little bit more of a kick. But unfortunately, this okra here has defrosted too much. It's best to cut it when it's partially. Well, fresh okra is better, I would prefer, but okra is out of season right now. It's January, so it's completely out of season. So I can't find fresh okra anywhere. But in the spring, it'll be awesome because as much fresh okra tastes better than frozen, but okra is better than no okra. You know what I mean? And so we're just cutting them some thin circles. That's how I like it. Don't cut the stems. And then I already have this container I did yesterday, put it in the fridge, and I realized after it defrosted, because it was frozen, it was double its size. I thought, oh, I have extra. And I was like, I don't know if I have enough. And so the beauty of this is that if I have extra, if I have cut too much, that's not a problem because I will freeze the rest of it like I normally do with fresh okra. So, I just put it in the bowl, and as I add it to the soup, if it's too much, leftovers get frozen for the next time we make okra soup, because I make this every couple of weeks for Mom. So, and there we go. And we're almost done cutting. Uh, when we're done doing this, we will take a look at our bread because it's most likely doubled in size, and we will shape it while the meat is cooking because the meat needs to cook a little bit before we start adding all the other ingredients to the okra soup. And we're down to the last couple of pieces of okra to chopped down. How y'all been this new year? You know, I don't know if y'all been okay. I don't know what's going on. Let me know. Put something in the chat. Let me see if there's any questions y'all need answered. So I'll also show you the moi moi, which is steaming. Like I said, I took a break so I could get Brian, who's helping me clean, so we can get to the next phase of stuff very quickly. Alright, that's the last piece of okra right there. And take all those, the stems, I put them in the bag that came in and toss it in the trash because these things are not good eats. Go and drop 2 of them. Go. And we will pour all of this into our okra bowl. And fish it. So, get my other trash bag ready. There it is. Just ready for things to be thrown into it. Okra's done and ready. We're gonna, now I just need to get that out of the way. Now we're going to go see how the meat's going. Okay. So y'all can see, let me unplug my camera. So this is the moi moi steaming, as you can see. This is the okra soup that we're doing. We're going to add this fish later into it, whether it's beef and goat, chuck beef and goat meat. And then let us go here, and yep, it is ready. It is almost so big, it has doubled in size. I partially punched it. That is our bread. It is ready for the next step. So we're gonna, if I can get my camera to react correctly. There we go. Up. Up, you foolish thing. There you go. There we go. So I do have clean hands. So you normally punch it, but I already punched it on its way out. So we're going to take some of these little boards and stuff out of the way so we can do the next phase. And give me a quick second. Just need to. All right. Sorry, just needed to make sure something in my computer was not beeping at me badly. Happy New Year, Chris. Great to see you. And so, like I said, we are making yeast rolls and moi moi. So now we're going to take our, now that our yeast rolls has risen, we're now going to shape them and put them in for their second rising. So we're getting the silicone baking mats ready for shaping. So always clean hands when I have them because I just finished washing stuff. Um, so the way you do it is we're going to take, I wonder if the close-up cam is even a better view. Let's see what happens. So, this might work. If I can get this, hold on, and get this gimbal thing to align right, it's kind of annoying. Alright, alright, I gotta finagle the camera. Y'all hold on a second, because it's being stubborn. There we go. There we go. Alright. So the way you do it is you take a chunk and your palms are your friend, and all you're doing is pinch, turn, pinch, turn, pinch, turn. I do it really fast. I'll do the next one a little slower. Rip a little chunk out. Use the palm of your hand again as your friend, and you're pinching and turn, pinch, turn, pinch, turn, pinch, turn, pinch, turn, pinch, turn. And now you get a little ball. So I am going to go a little faster. So I've been doing this for 20, well, good Lord, since I was 14, I'm 46. Yeah, 30 years. Over 30 years of doing this. It's a little bit more. All right. And yeah, this is how you shape rolls and put them in there. Mm-hmm. I said, so this is the second rising they will do in the oven, and then they just bake right there. You smell them, they smell so good. Now you can shape them into all kinds of stuff, like if you want to do a ribbon, if you want to do, um, if you guys want to do, like kind of like a challah, but this is not the kind of bread for a traditional challah, Jewish challah. But you can do that shape, that braided loaf shape. You can turn this into a loaf. Loaf bread is meant to be a little thinner. It doesn't have as much, it will have some fat. Um, I wouldn't add as many eggs um, inside of it, so it's a little lighter. Eggs makes it a little denser, and then that's really good for rolls. The rolls that I like. Um, Fat is what, so French bread, for example, if you make French bread has no fat in it. That's why it is the way it is. So, phone view. So we have completed one tray. Put it in the oven. I will actually turn the oven back on. The nice thing about these silicone baking mats is that I don't have to use it. I don't have to uh, oil it. That's the purpose of them. They are non-stick. I am sans one silicone baking mat. Oh, because there's not one at the bottom. Oh, it's sitting inside of. I think it's sitting inside of the pantry. And I don't know if you guys can hear that through the microphone, but people are shooting fireworks. Uh, it's kind of funny. And so, oh, we're just gonna shape these. Put them in the oven for their second rising. This is why you want to use active dry yeast. I'm sorry, instant yeast, because it will rise faster. Uh, you want to use it's not active dry, not instant. I'm using the wrong term. Rapid rise. You want that version that rises quickly, because that way you're not waiting too long. Again, the first rising is until it doubles in size. Punch it down. Don't leave it in your oven too long, because again, what's happening is the yeast is eating all that sugar in the flour and inside of the flour and the sugar that you added into the bread itself. It's actually eating that, and it basically leaves two byproducts. The first byproduct is carbon dioxide, which is the air that rises in the gluten. And yes, gluten is that fibrous thing that happens in bread. So I don't know how you make gluten-free bread, because I don't know what yeast, how it leavens. You probably use baking soda, because baking soda, it doesn't require gluten to leaven. Baking soda and baking powder instead of yeast to make a bread without gluten. But the gluten is what happens when flour is liquefied, comes in contact with a liquid. It creates those strands that trap, and it's sticky. And so when the air bubbles form, they get held kind of like a balloon, and that's why it rises. That's how leavening in with yeast works. And so the byproducts you have are carbon dioxide and alcohol. So you actually have alcohol in your bread. Let's see. Where is that other baking sheet? Why are you hiding from me? Because I just used you for something. Oh, I don't know. If Brian, did he put it inside of the dishwasher? No, he did not. I'm missing a baking sheet. Ah, I see it. Oh yeah, it's not going to work because it's covered in gook. Oh, but we can do something else. Aha! We have half sheets. So we're just going to use the half sheets side by side, because we are towards the end. We only have this much dough left, and so we don't really need a whole pan. They probably don't even need the whole sheet. But I'll spread it out. These are going to be some smaller rolls. I'm going to turn my oven on to 170, but that's not where you want it to heat. You want it just a little. So mine shows you the temperature of the oven as it's preheating. And so the purpose of this is you want the oven warm, but you don't want 170 is actually too hot. So you want it about 110 degrees inside of your oven. And so what I do is I turn my oven on, it has a temperature gauge, and it will start increasing in temperature. See, I don't even need this second thing. So we're just going to bake it on this one by itself. These last three. It's going to do something like that. There we go, diagonal. I could have made two really big rolls or three larger regular size, but These are going to the bottom. So turn it on until the temperature starts increasing on the thermometer on my oven. That's when I turn off the oven, because then the ambient heat is enough. So we're just going to fill this, and now we've done our bread. And so once it doubles in size, which will probably be right after the okra soup is done, we will bake it. You bake it at 315 degrees, 25 to 30 minutes, depending on your oven and climate. And that is until they're done when you take one out and tap it. So what I'm going to do now is, now that we've done with that, we're just going to move to our, let's see, There we go. While that's going, I'm going to take a piece of chuck beef and I'm going to see how done it is. Based on how done it is, that'll tell me if it's ready for the next step. So you take a piece, cut it, because I've been doing so much I kind of haven't been watching the time. It needs about 30 to 45 minutes to be done, but we actually want it not too done because we're going to add chicken next. Okay. We're ready for the chicken because it's mostly done. So I add boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I add regular thighs and all kinds of stuff. They're all in my other fridge. Let's see. Or, yeah, we have pieces of you that oftentimes take the skins off, but not on the thighs. Not on the drumsticks. We will take the skins off of the thighs. That's because it's a lot of skin. It's easier to rip that off. Our oven got too hot, so I'm opening it. What happens when you're doing too many things at the same time, but it's fine. Turned it off just in time, but it's more hotter than I want it to be. Yeah, we're adding a lot of chicken because we want that in our soup. I'm going to add 6 boneless, skinless thighs to the mix, and that will be enough chicken. And we're also going to add water. Alright, we have some chicken guts that need to be thrown out. So as we start boiling the chicken, the next thing, I'm going to wash more stuff. So I'm going to go here and add a couple of cups of water. Raise the fire because this is cold chicken. The temperature is down, so we're going to raise it to max, or as I like to call it, nuclear fusion, because my stove is hot. I cover that. We're going to get our ogbono ready, and then we're going to add our crayfish right now. So I added a little crayfish, but we want to add the rest of it now. So the crayfish flavor goes into the chicken as it's boiling and cooking. I'm adding about a third of a cup. I'm keeping that over here. And then this is something we call ogbono. It's a thickening agent. It adds the main flavor to okra soup. It won't be added yet, but I'm getting it ready. And so that's just sitting there going good. And so I'm checking my oven. Yep, it's the right temperature, so close it. So now the bread can rise. And now we will check our moi moi. And that is the stove view. This is our moi moi here. As you can see, you have a couple of them that have a lot of steam. A lot of steam. There's still a lot of water, I can see it down there, but I am going to turn the heat just down a little bit. You don't want, it's almost done. It needs about 15 more minutes. So we are doing great. Any questions from anybody? I don't know if you guys have any questions. Because I'm going to plug my phone in so that it can be charging, so that we have a phone cam. So while that's going on, I'm just here to see if you guys have any questions. Okay, so what we're gonna prep while this is boiling. What we're gonna do next is we're going to prep our stuffed mushrooms. So this is a fascinating dish. And get a big bowl. And the purpose of that bowl is it's going to hold the stuffed mushrooms that we peel. We have to clean all the mushrooms. And so, like I said, while the okra soup is going, we're going to take this stuff out here. And we're going to bring our other cutting board. Oh, I have the wrong camera on. Got my switcher. Let's see. Oh no, close up. Let's see if this, yeah, I think that's going to work better. I'll start off with the phone view so you see what's going on from the side. And I need another bowl. So this bowl is going to hold the stems. So what you need to do when you make stuffed mushrooms is first we start with figuring out what we're cooking them in. And that's how many mushrooms are going to fit there. And we're going to be using this pan. So what I'm going to do first is we start by removing the stems, and you need to have a spoon. And so in this case, we're going to switch to the close-up cam. And in the close-up cam, let's see. Yeah, hopefully that works. So you wiggle the stem until it breaks off. Toss that in there because it's good eats. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a spoon. You want one with a wide edge, like a teaspoon. You want one with a wide edge, and you're going to peel this stuff off because this is not good for stuffed mushrooms, but it's good eats. So I actually throw this into spaghetti sauce or things like that. So these stems are great. I'll chop them up when I need chopped mushrooms, and I use that. And so now take that, now that it's clean, put it in the bowl. You want larger mushrooms if you can for this recipe. There we go. See that? Just kind of getting all up in there. I don't know what these things are called inside of the mushroom. This is where we'll stuff our stuffing inside of it. Be very delicate with it because otherwise it will break. You want to use your largest mushrooms. This is the boring side of cooking. You know, always wanted to have a cooking show where I have minions who are doing little things and I can whip stuff up, but I'm not there yet. So y'all just got me entertaining you here on New Year's Day. All right, getting our larger mushrooms. Oop, excellent. See, splitting those are fine. Splitting this like I just did right there, not good. You want to keep that intact because that's what's going to hold the stuffed mushrooms in place. There we go. Let's say I'm going after my large ones. And what I'm doing is I'm filling my plate so I know how many can go in there. Otherwise, you're just kind of peeling mushrooms for no reason. You'll have extras that, I guess you could do another plate. A single batch will make a lot, so I'm probably I just want to make a pan because this is just for us and not anybody else. We didn't get a lot of them during Christmas when I made them last, so this is our batch. And a batch for some friends that I'm going to go see tomorrow. Ah, good. I can smell the okra soup going. Chicken. In about 4 or 5 minutes, I'm going to add the obono and other things. But one of the things I do want to add right now is the pepper, because I want to add some African pepper. I want to have a little bit more kick. Okay, coming back to our mushrooms. Yeah, this goes very quickly. It's just, those things. Step 1 of making stuffed mushrooms. And stuffed mushrooms is a very simple recipe. This recipe if you go to the cooking channel, not Food Network cooking channel. Her name is Kelsey Nixon, and type stuffed mushrooms Kelsey Nixon, you will find this recipe. This is her recipe that I'm making. Alright, so now I'm kind of down to I bought 2 packages of mushrooms, so I want larger ones, so I'm going to go to the other pack, because what's remaining in here are kind of tiny ones. Oh, except for this one. That one's not a bad one. That one will work well. And oh yes, if you're, somebody asked, what kind of mushrooms? Baby Bellas. Not portobellas, baby bellas. So these are bella mushrooms, and you want large baby bellas, but you don't want a portobello. It's way too big. You have to slice. I mean, you could do it. It's just you got to slice that up, and it's kind of a gooey thing. So I'm going to take this other set. I'm going to open my other package here because it's a mix of larger ones and smaller ones. Got these from Walmart. Not too bad price. I usually get them from Sam's, but today's New Year's Day, and Sam's is closed on New Year's Day. Walmart's open, but Sam's is not. And so is Costco. Costco was also closed today, so I was like, okay. I was originally not going to make these today, and then I happened to go to Walmart to go get the pineapples for the pineapple upside down cake, and I walked right with the mushrooms, and I was like, the last 3 packages of mushrooms were the right size. I was like, oh, this is a sign. I guess I got to make these today. These are one of Brian's favorite, my husband's favorite things, is stuffed mushrooms. Okay, we're down to phone view. We're kind of filling up our pan here. So we've got like 2 or 3 more that we can do. So this is good. I'm just gonna clean 2 or 3 more of this. Close up only, there we go. Yeah, as soon as I'm done with this step, because this is the most time-consuming step, I think I need 2. This one and maybe 2 more. We'll see. To fill my pan up. Oh, okay. Strangely need a smaller one to fit in the corner. That's the last one I need. Right here. Oh, actually I can do, this is like a game of sort of Russian roulette. Not quite Russian roulette. Tetris, that's better. Ooh, I said Russian roulette, so let's see. Is this gonna fit? Just kind of take it. This is why you get your container. Yep, that will fit in. It will squeeze right in there. It'll force, because also don't forget that the mushrooms shrink in size by almost up to 30% when they cook. So they will shrink in. So a tight fit is a good thing. You don't need space. They don't stick to each other like a dough or something like that. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, yeah, I'll just work it. So now we're good. We have done our stuffed mushroom prep. Uh-oh. Put the other unused mushrooms in the fridge. And now it's time to get back to our okra soup and time for some seasonage of things. Except I'm going to pull some stuff out of my fridge that needs to go to make room. Okay, yeah, we're almost there. All right. Close up on me. Oh, good. Okay, I'm looking. Oh yeah, moi moi is done. So we're going to turn off the flame. Going back to the okra soup. Yes. So you want it right when the chicken is half done. And hopefully that beef is half done. Let's take a piece of beef for a sample there. Good. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some palm oil. Yes, red palm oil. That is a staple in Nigerian cooking. Is to add palm oil into things, the flavoring. So not the most healthy. One of the substitutions you can do for palm oil, like we do in Nigeria, is to take a red pepper, red bell pepper, and that gives it the red color that you need. So there's a flavor that palm oil adds to the dish that's important. But yeah, we add palm oil directly into boiling water and stock. It's a big staple. And then we're also going to add our ogbono. This gives very distinctive flavor. We're also going to add our fish that's in the other pot because it's done. It's like a natural thickener, but so will but ogbono has a flavor. It's very distinct. It's a seed that grows back home. So we'll start with that level of ogbono. Turn up the heat. We may add some more water. let this cook. Oh, yeah, we're going to add our stockfish. Well, technically, I can use this. Just wanted to use the bigger spoon. I'm going to break it up. Yeah, stockfish is an interesting thing because I don't understand how this happened. This fish, we call it okporoko in our language. Yeah, sounds funny, okporoko. And okporoko is something that we use in a lot of throughout all of Nigeria. But you see, this fish is not found in Nigeria. This fish only is found in one place in the world, and that is off the coast of Norway. Yes, the Scandinavian country. As you know, Norway did not participate in a lot of the slave trade. Um, so they traded with us, but I don't know how Norway has an office in Nigeria specifically about selling this fish. They don't eat it in their country, we eat it. Um, I don't know what the fish is called in Norway, but this fish is a huge trade between our two countries. Um, and, we can't get enough of it. And I don't know how that happened. Um, because again, typically, like we're a British colony, we're a former British colony, so things British, tea, all that kind of good stuff, meat pies, Scotch eggs, these are kind of things that we got from the British, which also they also infused from their spice trade with India. But we don't have anything from Norway. Norway is not a country, none of their food is there, it's just this fish, for whatever reason came to our country, and I don't know how. I would love to know, anybody who knows that history, let me know. I would love to understand how that relationship between our two countries was created. Yeah, I'm tasting a piece of the chuck. The chuck is good. Chuck beef is mostly done. This chicken doesn't take that long to cook. Really good flavor coming in. That the palm oil is mixing in with the obono. I'm gonna do is taste. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So wait till the chicken is closely done, because then the last thing we add is the okra. You can already see that I have, well, normally I would make this in a bigger pot, but that bigger pot is being used for something. I might end up transferring it into this pot that I'm using for the moi moi. hmm This is great. It's doing well. Well, while that's happening, I'm gonna bring out a little container. So this is happening. We're gonna start working our stuffed mushrooms. So in order to do stuffed mushroom is a couple of ingredients. It is sausage, preferably sage sausage. Um, Actually, I'm gonna change the recipe name. Let's see. I probably need a better way of doing this. There we go. So we're gonna get everything ready. We need uh, 2 stalks of green onions, um, one thing of sage sausage, one pound thing of sage sausage. Then we're gonna add cheese. And a couple of other ingredients. Ooh, boiling a little too vigorous, gotta lower that heat. Okay, at this point, it is time for us to add the okra. Switch to the phone view. Nope, close up. There we go. And this is what's going to make it a little slimy. Oh, I thought there was too much okra. Nope, all of it's going in. I like a lot of okra in my okra soup. Oh, and I almost forgot something. You need a thing of spinach. There we go. So we're just going to do that. Turn the heat back up, because it cooled it down. So that, and while I put my spinach in the microwave, yeah, it's a tin. You use fresh spinach, but that's just too much spinach. I use a package of spinach like that, and actually we're probably going to do 2 of them. So we're just going to defrost it in the microwave, and it needs to be chopped. You could do fresh. The problem is it's just way too much fresh. It takes way too much energy for very little payoff. You have to put a lot of spinach in if you do it with fresh, and you have to chop it. It's like, to me, it's just so much easier to add regular chopped spinach. Oh, I just found a piece of okra that was not chopped up. Oh no, it is. It just was a little congealed. Mm. And now we're here in okra soup. So let me cover it, let it boil. While that's going on, we're going to switch to the phone view. We are going to start chopping our green onions. Yeah, we want the stems and stalks. I've already washed these. Toss those little stems away. Peel off any rotten leaves that are in there. I bought these before Christmas, these green onions before Christmas, so it's been a week old, but my fridge cools rather well. Oh, and the other thing you need to do is bring out your cream cheese. It needs to be at room temperature. So I'm gonna bring that out while I look for one other ingredient. Oh, there they are. I was missing green onions, and I was like, I know I bought these, and they're here. go. You have to stir the okra soup a lot, otherwise it will burn in the bottom. Once you add the okra, it's like something about the goo and the stickiness causes it to want to burn the bottom. So you got to stir it quite frequently. So I was looking for another set of green onions because I was like, I thought I had 3, and I only found 1, but sure enough, I do have 3. I was correct. This one's gonna need a little bit of washi. And it's going to need a lot of peeling and cleaning. Not cleaning, just it has a lot of dead leaves. Again, these are bought before Christmas, so you just want to peel all the dead leaves off and toss them away. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. There we go. Just working that okra soup. Anyway. Getting all that gook. Okay. I'm going to peel all the gook off. There we go. These pieces, you toss them. Oh, I missed one. There it is. Alright, now these are peeled and ready to go, ripping and raring to go. So we're going to move our okra soup to another flame so that when we start frying, I've turned it off, but not because it's done, because I need to move it to the other burner so it's easier to see, because it's basically done. I want to move it to here so we can see what we're doing with the stuffed mushrooms. Alright, so we're going to chop these onions. And just these, you just want them in tiny. You just want them in tiny circles. You don't want giant chunks of onion. There's one slice there that was a little too big, but it's fine. And yes, you want the stalks. Stalks are the goodness. Stalks are the sweetness. By the way, I'm defrosting the spinach. I should have done that before I brought it out. I just totally forgot about it. But the moment it's done, it goes straight into the okra soup. It should be added with the okra. But yeah, it's fine. The okra doesn't overcook. It has a little ways to go. So It's about 5 minutes left in the defrost cycle for the spinach. And we're not going to squeeze it. We're actually going to, because we want the water. Because okra soup thickens, you actually want it thinner than you expect. Because when it cools, it will thicken. You don't want a big block of okra soup. So spinach is optional. A lot of Nigerians don't add spinach. I like spinach in my egusi and my okra soups. So thus it shall be added. Just moving the moi moi around. How goes the spinach? Oh, it's almost defrosted. Yay. Let's flip it around. Alright. Alright, we are done. So now we're going to proceed to get our stuffed mushrooms. We're going to check our bread. Bread's almost ready to start baking. It is very close to doubled in size. So as soon as we're done making this saute, we're going to bake the bread. Okay. You just want to take some sage sausage, turn on your fire, and then you want your handy dandy meat cleaver, not meat cleaver. um, Actually, I think I'm going to switch it back to the close-up view. I think that will work better. There we go. So you need to get your meat cleaver, and when you do your meat cleaver, I said here in close-up, it's not a cleaver. This is something they sell these at Walmart for like $10, maybe Target $5-10, and this makes pulverizing and making ground beef or ground sausage. Again, this is a package of sage sausage. You don't have to use sage sausage. You can use hot sausage. You could use Italian sausage. I personally think sage sausage tastes the best in this recipe. This is my personal preference. So what we're doing is, again, we are frying this in this while we keep an eye on that okra soup, making sure that the bottom doesn't burn. Actually, it does need a little bit more warmth. Where does that go? It could need more. It's actually a little too viscous. The soup is almost done though. While we wait for the spinach. This is the okra soup. Yep, and just browning this. Yep. Uh-oh. Just trying to flip over. The microwave said to flip over. use this. This is how it makes it so much easier to pulverize. And because they're heat resistant, I'm using sort of like a spoon. I'm just trying to get all them little bits pulverized as much as possible into powder. Yeah, I said that like a Bostonian. Powder. I miss my friends in Boston. Hope y'all are doing okay in this crazy cold weather. There you go. Yep. Now it's time to add butter. So this is just I'm just gonna add a little stick of butter in there because now we're gonna fry our onions in it. Ah, our spinach is defrosted. Yay! Yay! Now it's thick the way I want it to be. Okra soup is looking good. Toss that spinach in. Not as defrosted as it could be, but it's not bad. Pieces. Yeah, in other Nigerian dishes we would wring this out, but we don't want that. We actually want that water. So I'm just pushing them to the bottom where it's hottest, opening the second while we stir. There we go. There we go. There we go. This is doing great. There we go. Yay. And so we're just gonna turn that back up so it can increase the temperature. And now we're gonna add our green onions to the dish. I'm amassing a healthy dose of items today. There we go. You just want until the green onions are wilted. Yeah, I could get another spoon, but nah. I get something else. I probably might as well. Yeah, it's just butter. That's how it's gonna be. While that's cooking, let's just get back to your pursuit. And remember, you gotta stir because of the okra. It starts to want to burn on the bottom, so you don't want that. See, now we have spinach going on. So, stove view. This is the okra soup here. Isn't that beautiful? And this is what we eat with something we call fufu, which is cassava that you make in a paste. It looks like thick mashed potatoes in between mashed potatoes and a bread dough, and we eat it swallow. We actually swallow our food whole. We do not chew this. That's just how it is. You actually consider this the fufu, a delivery for the soup mechanism. So this is what differentiates all of Africa is the types of soup. This is an Igbo dish. Um, so I'm from the Igbo part, from the eastern part of Nigeria. And so this is one of the Igbo way of making this. And so, yeah, we'll let that boil. Just a little bit more. Um, and we'll switch back to our close-up cam. This is our stuffed mushrooms. And they're done. So we not need to, now they're done, it's going to leave them here and let them cool. They have to cool completely before we stuff the mushrooms. We're going to put them in cream cheese, breadcrumbs, and Parmesan cheese. And we stuff them, but we need to let this mixture cool. So I'm just going to move it to the other burner where it's not hot. And then I'm going to go to the phone cam because we have goodness. Oh yes, we have goodness. Let's do that phone cam. Why? What's the goodness that we're talking about? We're talking about bread. Look at that. Look at that. Uh-oh. There we go. And so as you can see, the bread has fully doubled in size. So we're just going to turn on the oven to 315. And start. And then, because I know you guys have been wondering, what is the moi moi like? So it's done. It's been done. So we're going to get a piece of it. I'll bring that phone cam a little closer. This will be interesting. Okay, down. You know, let's see what we can do with it over here. Okay. And zoom. Okay. All right, so we're gonna get some moi moi right now. Get some moi moi right now. You're gonna get a plate. As you can see, that's our stuffed mushrooms that are prepared, waiting to be stuffed. And I'll get them out of the way so we can see. So you guys can see this is what moi moi looks like. It's been steamed and it is done. It's cooled down. So I'm opening it. This is what it looks like. It's still hot. You see how that it fell off into the plate. And so that is our black-eyed peas. That is how I do black-eyed peas. Totally different way of having it. So now we are going to eat this. Let's see how it goes. It's back to the main scene. It's time to give it a taste. So this is what it looks like. As you can see, it's really warm still. Oh yeah. Mm. Oh my God. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, this takes me back. Mm. Mm. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Good stuff. Oh yeah. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. That turned out perfect.
It just needs to cool down a little bit. Temperature hot. Okay, let us stir our okra soup. Oh yeah, it's done. hmm It's done. I'm gonna turn it to the stove view. Hey, look at that. And yes, it's yeah, we like it slimy, but that's how it's supposed to be. But isn't that beautiful? All you Nigerians there. Mm-hmm. Hey yo, all my Nigerians out there. hmm And here's okra soup is done. Turned off the flame. Let's leave that there. Then I'm watching my temperature open up in the oven. I'm gonna go feast me on some more moi moi. This stuff's good. Mm, 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 mm. Oh yeah. Mm. It looks like I'm not gonna have enough time to make cheesecake today, so I'm gonna do that tomorrow when I do my pulled pork. So it's 10 o'clock and I'm exhausted. So we are waiting for our uh, meat to cool down. One of the things you can do is put it in a plate and put it in the freezer, and that's what I'm going to do right now. I want to get to stuffing, paraphrasing Martin Lawrence in the show Martin Get to Steppin', but we're going to get to stuffing. There we go. All right. So if you spread it, close-up cam. So if you spread it wide, so I put it in a plate, increases the surface area that the cold will touch. When you reduce the surface area, it takes it longer to cool down. But we're going to put it all the way to the edges, and then we're going to put this plate in the freezer, because that will cool it down. We want it cooled down because you don't want it turning your cream cheese into goo. I just put it in my freezer, about 10, 15 minutes maybe. And while that's going, we're just going to start doing a little bit of cleanup. So, I don't know who else is here. Hi, Patty. I see you here. Um, I don't know when you got there. So, we are gonna, the last thing we're gonna do is stuff the mushrooms. But before I do that, I'm just gonna try to get some of these things out of the way. Uh, okay. Moi moi is baller. The yeast rolls will turn out just as good. They look amazing. Let's wash us some dishes. A couple of things out of the way. So while I'm here, what are all of you guys wishing to be happen in the new year? I'd like to know. Put some stuff in the chat. I'd like to know. What are your New Year wishes? Love to know. Mine is prosperity, peace, and health. Uh-oh. It's time to swap my bread. I need to, so that they don't over brown. So the ones that were at the bottom need to move to the top so everything doesn't end up burning. Let's see. That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, that's a good question. So, spinach, it doesn't take that long to cook. Somebody's asking, yeah, did it spinach done? I was like, yeah, it's going to be done. It's about letting the food. Spinach gets done very quickly um, inside of your okra soup. It's the okra that takes a little longer to cook inside with the obono. So the obono is sort of a flavor and a thickener, and the okra is the big thickener. And so, yes, unlike it, for us, the soup is slimy, but we love that about it. It's kind of like the way a lot of Asian families go after the chicken legs. That's a sort of a delicacy thing. Um, uh, a lot of Persian and Arab families, when they make the sticky rice that in the pot, you go for the burnt bits and you fight over those burnt bits at the bottom. Same thing with us with okra soup. We love the sliminess. That's just how culturally we are. I know Americans wouldn't like that texture, but it's for Nigerians that is something we just absolutely love. Okay. All right, give me a second. I'm going to be right back in 5 minutes. I need to use the restroom. Alright, we are back. I think my phone cam ran out of juice. Oops. Yeah. Because we're going to need that in a second, so I'm going to need to plug my phone in. I forgot to plug that in. Yeah, my phone died. We may not have a close-up cam from that perspective. Alright. Okay. Okay. The sausage mixture is quite cooled down. And so let's get our different views going on here. Alright. So we're going to pour this all into a bowl. And then we're going to zhuzh it up with some salt and pepper and add our cream cheese. I thought I brought out my cream cheese. Uh-oh. Yes, I did. I just misplaced it. It is at room temperature. I put it on top of the fridge to warm up quicker, which is awesome. So we're going to add seasoned salt, black pepper, and black pepper. My husband was just telling me some, a friend of ours just lost his house. That's just terrible. With the fire, lost everything. And, see what we can do to help him. Alright, so salt and pepper to taste. Oh, you taste it? Mm-hmm. Just right. And you're going to open a package of cream cheese and toss it in. Cream cheese is packaged in an annoying way. Go. Check on the bread. We're doing good. Set to convection bake. Excuse me. I'm just going to mash this all into the cream cheese. That's why you want it a little bit warm. So, and then to that, oh, we're still gonna keep mixing it. And once you gotten it to just that level, you're gonna add Parmesan cheese. This is Parmesan cheese, about 3/4 cup. And then the last thing you will add is breadcrumbs. I like to use panko, which is Japanese breadcrumbs, because I think their flavor. And I like to use seasoned panko specifically. Oh, I get to open a new thing, panko. So this is panko. I get mine from Walmart because I like the container. And you want about half a cup. And then it is the mixage. Sometimes I just use my hands. Tonight, no, I'm gonna mix it here. Until all of it mixes together. Like this spoon because I can use it like a mortar and pestle. This is from the Pioneer Woman collection. I love her spoons because this is it's like a spatula, so it'll wipe the sides of the container, and this one is heat tolerant to 450 degrees, so I can use it to cook on the stove like you saw before. I love this thing. Get them at Walmart. Favorite spoon. There you go. And then also you can do this mortar pestle action. As you can see, it's now mixing together fully. There you go. You just want this fully incorporated and fully completely mixed in all the cream cheese. You don't want any chunks of cream cheese. You want fully mixed in. I have some chunks right there. There we go. Pound that out. There we go. And we'll just mix it around. And now we're ready to stuff. So I'm going to take my mushrooms. I'm going to empty them out of this container. I'm going to put them in the pan that I started frying stuff that's just sitting off to the side. Take all my mushrooms out. Then, I don't need to clean it. We just need to butter it with cooking spray. Sorry, I gotta wash my hands. Okay, I hate it when I do that. Put things in the wrong spot because I did this. Alright. Liberal dose of cooking spray. Don't scrimp on it because you do not want this sticking. Mushrooms make a sort of chemical that can cause things to stick to the bottoms. You just don't want that. Okay. Now take a standard tablespoon, like this. We're gonna grab a mushroom, and nice thing is I'm here with nearby the sink because you want a little bit of water on your spoon. You're going to, because it doesn't, so the mushroom mixture, because it's fat, won't stick. So you're just gonna stuff your mushroom like that, heaping how it falls. When it starts sticking, use water. You can put water in a bowl or something like that to dip it. And put it in your pan. Now I smell my bread, so I'm going to, I wish I could show you, but the phone is dead, so there will be no phone cam. Bread's almost done. It just need to be flipped around. You just have to play so they don't burn at the bottom. All right. There you go. Just stuffing the mushrooms. Now, just keep stuffing them in. Uh, just checking. Yep, we're good. And then we're done. Well, I can't bake it because all 3 rows of my of my oven are full with bread, but the bread should be done in less than 5 minutes. Hopefully it'll be about the time I finish this. Okay, starting to stick to the spoon, so we're gonna water our spoon. There we go. So I hope y'all's New Year's has been a good one. Go. There we go. And that'll be leftover. I might make, because I have leftover mushrooms, so. One more. Or 2 more. This is, you see there's lots of it is going to be left over. That's fine, as I have leftover mushrooms, so those will be made tomorrow. And the last one, which is a small one. There we go. And there you have it. Stuffed mushrooms. So before we bake it, they're all in there. Probably could have fit 2 more tiny ones, but yeah, before we bake it, we have to actually, because stuffed mushrooms must be braised. So you need to braise them in a liquid. You could use water, but then the mushrooms absorb whatever it is. We are going to use sherry wine. And so you just want a 1/4 inch of liquid. Mushrooms make their own. but that will absorb into the mushrooms. You could do Madeira, you could do port, you can do even Marsala. You want a fortified wine is better. If you're going to do a non-fortified one, then a Moscato or a Riesling or a Pinot Grigio are the best things. So, and that's that. We have stuffed mushroom. So bake them. They take 25 minutes to bake. Uh-oh, I think my phone's crashed. There we go. Trying to do my switcher. My other phone is my switching phone that changes the scenes. Perfect. All right. I smell the bread, so it's time for it to go. Oh yeah, it's done. And more, it would not be done. So take a look how brown they are. Look at the bottom right there. And you can't hear it, but it sounds hollow when you tap it. So bring them all out. So I'm gonna do some Chinese checkers. We're gonna move this out of the way and get all the rest of the bread out. Matter of fact, these ones are almost overdone. We're just gonna toss them there so that way we don't have to deal with the container. And then the last one. Oh yeah, they're done. There we go. And we're gonna butter the bread. So now that this is done, we can put our stuffed mushrooms in. I've already turned my heat up to 350. Um, Actually, you know what? Instead of convection, I think I want it to bake at 350. There we go. Okay, separate them out. And then the last thing we're going to do to the bread while it's hot, because you got to do this while it's hot, is we're going to butter the tops of them. So get you a stick of butter. Carol Ann, this was your job at Christmas. Thank you for so much for doing this so well. So get a stick of butter. Just rub them in circles like this. And then get a, there you go, a spreader. You gotta do this while it's hot. They do need to cool before you eat them, so they need to cool for 20 minutes, maybe 30. I mean, you could eat them now. There's so much steam. Remember I told you the bread, the yeast is making carbon dioxide and alcohol, so you have a lot of the alcohol that's been burned off, but there's still a lot of steam inside of the bread. So if you cut up into it right now, you're literally going to burn yourself because of all that steam, so let it cool down. Doing this butter makes it just nice and soft on the top, so when you store it you don't have a crispy. I like my rolls not to be crispy. I always butter this, as well as when I do a loaf of bread. If I make a loaf of bread, same thing. A butterings we will go, a butterings we will go, hi ho the dairy-o, a butterings we will go. Yes, I get very silly when I'm tired. You know, we've been cooking for 4 hours now, so there we go. Again, liberal amounts of butter. Lots of butter on the top. Corner be unturned. All right, now we will swap spots. It's nice to have a sink with a huge edge. So we will bring this pan here. I went and put these smaller ones, which actually cooked overcooked, but you know, it's okay. Because they were on the bottom shelf, because they were the last set that I made, and I really should have put them on the top shelf. It's okay. They're still gonna go in my belly. Told you we'd be getting silly. Hmm. Yeah, buttering. Just keep the buttering going. You want to use that heat to melt the butter on top. Do that. This is starting to cool down. Still hot enough for butter. In fact, I'm going to take these butter and move them to the other pan, so get out of my way. All right, now we're done. Last, there we go. There we go. I forgot to separate these before they start cooling. You actually need to lift them up so they don't stick to the silicone baking mat. Because if they cool, they will stick. There we go. I did the other one, I just forgot to do this one. All right, they're done. Actually, we'll just leave this butter out for the last thing. All right, well, that's it for today. We're doing great. We have our bread all done. It's been great cooking with you guys. I'll probably stream again tomorrow to make our last set of things that we're just kind of clear out the new year, pulled pork and some other things that we'll make. But all right, it has been great serving you guys. Take care. Have a good one. Have a happy new year.